sea on the south coast here. We're near Seaford in East Sussex, and it's a beautifully clear blue day. You can't quite see the sea, but it's about less than a half mile away. And here's your erstwhile pilot, keeping us safe and not too seasick with a bit of luck. And he's grinning because that's exactly what he's doing. Here we are catching up with another V8, so we've got V8s in convoy. Again?
Did you bring your bikini?
Oh yeah, I've got a bikini, Clive.
Yeah,
look at this. This is, what day is it? It's 25th, isn't it? 25th of April.
27th, I believe.
27th of April.
On a Sunday?
Lovely Sunday here in East Sussex.
So tell me a bit more about the MG Club.
How it started?
Well, how it started, Kev, yeah.
Well, it started from memory. I know the exact date because I have got the original piece of paper. It started about 1981 when I think it was British Leyland, wasn't it? They were basically going to stop making MGs, and the MG Owners Club started as a sort of more or less as a protest. And at that time, I happened to have bought an MG midget, and of course, I thought, oh well, I'll get involved with the club. And our local club was the one based at Black Boys at the time, or Heathfield. And I went along to the second ever meeting. So yeah, it was quite good. I mean, I've still got friends that I keep in touch with to this day that I met at that my first meeting, the second meeting.
I noticed at the club that they are mainly MGBs, aren't they? What turn up?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, back in the day, there used to be a lot more midgets because obviously they were cheap and plentiful, and we were young, and youngsters can afford the cheaper end of the market. Obviously, the Bs and GTs were a little bit more expensive, but yeah, you're quite right. Now, when you go along to the club, it seems that most the people who go have Bs and GTs. Having said that, of course, little old midgets, they might be hidden away in garages, and some of the people who go along to the meetings may well have some.
Later ones turn up now, don't they? Got some nice samples.
Oh,
well,
lovely. Yeah, some people, the more, I suppose going back 20-25 years now, though they first started doing the TF, isn't it? I think.
I'm not sure. I'm not up with the modern models. TF,
yeah, but they're pretty little cars.
Yeah,
people to go.
Yeah, there's nice ones. There's nice ones on the run today. I noticed. Yeah,
there were.
Yeah, very good. So the club meets now every last Tuesday.
No, it's oh gosh, now you got me. It's the second Tuesday monthly, and it originally used to be on a Monday, but that changed when Fred Robinson started and took the club on, and he was the one who really built the club up to what it is today, and I think most people agree with that. The first guy who took it on was, or who started it, was a guy called Rod Story, and to the best of my knowledge he's still knocking around somewhere, and then it went through various incarnations until about, I don't know when it was, it was probably late 80s, when numbers had tailed off. I think partly because the cars themselves had started falling apart, they rusted, and and people left. And Fred actually came along and said, right, we're not going to let this slip. And he was a great guy.
So the actual club name, what is it, and how did that originate?
It's, well, the MG Owners Club, of course, was originated in Swavesey in Cambridgeshire, but at that time, this is to say, at very early 80s, there was a big movement to look after these cars. So our club, we actually decided that we were going to call it, if you look at the thing, it says MG Club, because there was a car club and the owners club, and as a club we didn't want to exclude anyone. So it started off in Black Boys, then to the best of my knowledge it went to, where did we go? I think we went to the Middle House a few times in Mayfield. Then of course it went to Horham, and then it ended up sort of various different ways and different places it went to, ended up where it is today at Welshurst. Yeah. There's Clive enjoying himself.
I am. I'm enjoying
And
myself.
there's me feeling seasick.
Bit woozy. Tell me. So, go on then, tell me about the run. You and your wife, was it who organised the run?
I devised the run.
Yep.
The first half of the run up to the Roebuck at Lawton, we've done 3 times before. And now we've moved house, we had to put the last bit on. So we did it about three times, hoping there would be no last minute roadworks, because that always bugs it up.
Well, it went very smoothly, didn't it?
Yeah, really pleased.
Yeah, I don't think anybody broke down, did they?
No, nobody broke down.
And a glorious day as well.
And the weather was booked in advance by the pub.
Well done. So it's all down to next year. So are you doing another one next year?
I suspect so, yes.
Yeah, so it'll be around about the same time, I guess.
If we don't do it, I don't think anyone else is going to take it on.
No,
So,
probably not. No.
And the work's all done now.
Yeah, so you just follow on as from before. So your lady wife, yes, was involved or not? Is that your wife? Yeah.
I did all the route, she did everything else.
Oh, okay.
So I give all the credit to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got a lot of footage in you.
Yeah.
With your foot down.
So
with me,
just to clarify, you're the man in the blue MG V8.
Yeah.
Good fun.